Imagine holding a treasure map, not parchment but millions of colored stones set into a church floor. This map, crafted 1,500 years ago, doesn't lead to gold, but to a lost city swallowed by the desert. For centuries, scholars stared at this mosaic, wondering about the places it depicted. One name stood out: Tharais, a town known only from this ancient map. A team of archaeologists set out to follow its clues into the wilds of Jordan. The search for a lost city is the ultimate adventure, part history, part mystery, part detective work. The odds were against them. The desert erases even the mightiest cities. But they had a guide, a map made by people who once walked those streets. Their journey was a testament to human curiosity and our connection to the past. This isn't just about digging in sand, it's about bridging 15 centuries. Could they translate this ancient artwork into a real location? Could they stand where the mapmakers once stood? This expedition aimed to prove that history isn't just in books, it's something you can find, touch, and walk through. The rediscovery of Tharais is a powerful story of how the past can speak to the present, if we're willing to listen. Sometimes the key to unlocking history is right under our feet. In Madaba, Jordan, the floor of St. George's Basilica holds something extraordinary: the Madaba Mosaic Map. Created in the 6th century, it's the oldest surviving map of the Holy Land, made from over 2 million tiny stone cubes. Though damaged, what remains is a stunning window into the Byzantine world. The map's detail is remarkable. Mountains, rivers, cities, and even animals are depicted in vibrant color. Jerusalem appears in intricate detail, with the Church of the Holy Sepulchre clearly shown. This was a guide for pilgrims, not generals, a spiritual itinerary for the faithful. Imagine being a 6th century traveler, seeing your journey laid out in stone before you. The map shows the way to Jericho, the Jordan River, and dozens of other sites, even including animals and boats. For historians, the Madaba map is a priceless resource, preserving names and locations lost to time. Every town and river is a clue to a forgotten past. This potential transformed the map from artifact to active tool, setting the stage for the hunt for Tharais. Sometimes a map is more than a map, it's a bridge to lost worlds. Among the 157 Greek captions on the Madaba map, one name intrigued researchers: Tharais. Depicted as a fortified settlement in central Jordan, Tharais was otherwise unknown. No text, no legends, just a name in stone. Its mystery made it irresistible to archaeologists. The map placed Tharais east of the Dead Sea, in a strategic frontier zone of the Byzantine Empire. Such a town would have been a military outpost, trade center, and safe haven for locals. But if it was so important, why did it vanish? Finding Tharais wasn't just about geography, it was about understanding life on the empire's edge. For decades, scholars debated its location, but the desert kept its secrets. The landscape had changed, and the map's scale was uncertain. It would take a dedicated team blending old clues and new technology to turn this ancient name into a real place. Tharais waited, its story written in stone for someone to listen. To understand Tharais, you need to understand Byzantium, the Eastern Roman Empire. This Christian empire, centered in Constantinople, was a powerhouse of faith, art, and commerce. Its influence stretched from Italy to the Middle East, controlling vital trade routes. The economy thrived on agriculture: wheat, grapes, olives, produced in provinces like Tharais's. Towns like Tharais were links in this economic chain, supporting cities, armies, and trade. Byzantine towns were fortified, with colonnaded streets, bathhouses, and churches at their heart. On the desert frontier, towns also served as military outposts, part of a defensive network. Life here was a mix of routine and risk. Farmers, soldiers, officials, and clergy living side by side. These towns were melting pots, where imperial culture met local traditions. Finding Tharais would offer a rare glimpse into this provincial life, far from imperial splendor but vital to the empire's survival. The search for Tharais was a search for the soul of Byzantium's frontier. The hunt for Tharais became a true archaeological detective story. A team of Polish and Jordanian archaeologists began with the Madaba map, focusing east of the Dead Sea near the Wadi Mujib. The terrain was vast and challenging, littered with ruins from many eras. The team combined old clues with modern methods: systematic surveys, satellite imagery, and aerial photography. They searched for pottery, cut stones, and outlines of buried walls, braving the harsh sun and endless false leads. The key was to find a site matching a 6th century Byzantine town. After years of searching, they found a promising ruin, Khirbet et Thraia, perched on a high plateau. Pottery and ruins matched the Byzantine period, and the site's name echoed the ancient Tharais. The location fit the map's clues, a defensible position overlooking a wadi. The surface was littered with Byzantine pottery, and the ruins suggested a sizable settlement. The team realized they were onto something big. The hunt was over, it was time to dig. Sometimes the past hides in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to see it. The search for Tharais was about to pay off. The desert was ready to give up its secret. Excavation at Khirbet et Thraia brought a lost city back to light. The team uncovered a substantial settlement, streets, clustered buildings, and well-cut limestone walls. At its heart stood a large basilica-style church, its mosaic floor decorated with Greek inscriptions. This church revealed Tharais as a thriving Christian center, not just a military outpost. Inscriptions named saints and patrons, bringing ancient inhabitants to life. Beyond the church, the team found olive presses and winemaking equipment, proof of a prosperous agricultural economy. Tharais produced oil and wine for local use, the army, and export. Everyday artifacts, pottery, glass, tools, coins, painted a vivid picture of daily life. The most significant find, a carved stone with the name Tharais, confirming the city's identity. After 1,500 years, the name and place were reunited. Tharais was no longer a ghost, it was real, tangible, and full of stories. The city's secrets, buried for centuries, were finally revealed. The past had come alive. The rediscovery of Tharais was a triumph, not just for archaeology but for the ancient map itself. The Madaba map's depiction of a fortified town matched the real settlement, a defensible plateau, strong walls, and a grand church. The map's accuracy was astonishing, capturing both geography and the town's economic character. Olive presses and winemaking equipment brought the mosaic's hints to life. Tharais was on the map because it mattered, a productive center on the empire's edge. The basilica at the heart of the ruins echoed the religious world of Byzantium. The map and the ruins told the same story. Faith and industry defined these communities. The Madaba map provided the clues. Archaeology provided the proof. The inscription bearing Tharais' name closed the loop, linking past and present. This is how ancient sources and modern science work together to rewrite history. With persistence and the right clues, we can put lost worlds back on the map. The discovery of Tharais is more than an archaeological triumph. It's a window into Byzantine frontier life. Tharais, once just a name, is now a real place with a story. It shows the Byzantine province of Arabia was a network of thriving, productive communities. For Jordan, Tharais adds a new jewel to its rich heritage alongside Petra and Jerash. The find sparks new interest, tourism, and pride in the nation's deep history. It also highlights the need to protect ancient sites. Once lost, their stories are gone forever. Tharais survived 1,500 years buried in sand. Now, it must be preserved for future generations. Each site is a library of information, a piece of humanity's collective memory. The story of Tharais is a call to action for conservation and responsible stewardship. Globally, it reminds us that history is interconnected. Understanding provincial Byzantium helps us understand our own roots. Tharais' rediscovery is a piece of the human puzzle, helping us see the bigger picture. Even a small town on the empire's edge can have global significance. The story of Tharais and the Madaba map is about the enduring power of maps and the human drive to explore. A map is more than a tool, it's a promise that something worth discovering lies beyond the horizon. The Madaba map's promise waited 1,500 years for someone to follow it. This journey speaks to our desire to connect with the past, to stand where others once stood. When archaeologists uncovered Tharais' church floor, they knelt where Byzantine worshippers once did. In a world mapped by satellites, the discovery of a lost city reminds us that mysteries remain. Exploration blends ancient wisdom and modern technology, old maps and satellite imagery side by side. The quest for Tharais began with colored stones and ended with a rediscovered community. No clue is too small, no mystery too old to solve. The greatest adventures aren't always about gold, they're about chasing forgotten names and stories. The real treasure is knowledge and connection with those who came before us. The spirit of exploration is one of humanity's most vital traits.